What's up, everybody? Welcome. We have made it to In Your House. It is Sunday, week 4 of July. Our build into In Your House has been horrendous. We've been terrible. WCW is hammering us. We're coming off one of our worst shows of the year in Puerto Rico. It's not our fault they don't speak the King's English there. Paul Bearer's promo was fantastic. I don't want to hear about a language barrier. I think it's bull, but we are here. We're in Hawaii now. We went from Puerto Rico. We've flown halfway across the world to Hawaii to bring you In Your House. This is the Book It Better YouTube series, WWF 1994. I'm Max Whitman, as always, and today I am joined by the Professor himself. He has graced us via satellite to bring his expert analysis and commentary to our very first pay-per-view. It's In Your House, July 1994. Professor, I'm pumped. What are you thinking?
I can't imagine a world in which this is good.
Alright, well, I think you're wrong, first of all. And as evidenced by that, we have our pre-show battle royal here. It gets a 61 grade, a C rating. It's actually way better than I thought it was going to possibly be. But the Battle Royal features the 1-2-3 Kid, Barry Horowitz, Bastion Booger, my man, Brooklyn Brawler, Chris Kanyon, Dink the Clown, Doink the Clown, IRS, Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Lawler, Jim Neidhart, Coco Beware, Lex Luger, Matt Hardy, Nikolai Volkov, Rick Martel, Tatanka, The Barbarian, and Typhoon. So this is a pre-show Royal Rumble, essentially, with some of the greatest performers who have ever graced the squared circle.
There's two things that I want to point out real quick.
Okay.
One, it says Barry Horowitz was really off of his game. When was he ever on his game?
Well, that's fair.
Two, the Brooklyn Brawler is not suited to his gimmick.
What is his gimmick? Not even sure what his gimmick is.
He's homeless.
And he's from Brooklyn, and he brawls.
He's from Brooklyn.
He's a guy from Brooklyn who brawls. That's his gimmick. I like that Dink is not suited to his gimmick either. But I think that's just because he's pushing back against the clown gimmick now that he's juiced up out of his mind. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. He's not juiced up out of his mind. He's on a very strict exercise regimen, and he's getting pretty big. And it's evidenced here because Lex Luger wins this Battle Royal. Dink is the final elimination. And Jerry Lawler got the most eliminations over the course of the match. So
that's...
we'll move on to our next pre-show bout here. On a serious note, though, this actually scored way better than I expected it to score. There's no way I thought this was going to get a 61 rating.
Well, I mean, when you have superstars like Jerry Lawler and
Dink.
IRS and Doink, and Typhoon and the Barbarian, that's a murderer's row of work rate.
It is. Also, I would like to point out, if you've been watching since our first episode, what a fall from grace for the 1-2-3 Kid so far. 1-2-3 Kid was in a match against Shawn Michaels in the first week, and now he's in the pre-show Battle Royal, and he's losing to Dink the Clown. Dink's a midget.
To be fair, we all lose to Dink the Clown.
That's true. That's true. Let's move on. We got our next segment here. This is Yokozuna and Crush teaming up once again. They're going to defeat the Bushwhackers here. It had decent wrestling, not much heat. Gee, I wonder why. Nobody was popping for the Bushwhackers? They defeat the Bushwhackers in 10 minutes. Yokozuna defeats Bushwhacker Bush.
Can we add another? Can we make it a trio?
We got Butch, Luke, and Bush.
And Whack.
Whack.
You can have four of them.
The Bushwhackers, Bush, and Whack. Yokozuna carries this match in terms of performance. He gets a 75. Dude, Yoko has been putting up great numbers every week. Every single week. Crush scores a 51, not terrible. 40s for the Bushwhackers, that's what we expected. Crush was really off his game. Bushwhacker Bush was really off his game. But our announcing quality lifted the match. Good old Vince McMahon and JR, excuse me, adding to the quality of the match. Again, not a bad match here. 64, really not too bad.
What exactly does Yokozuna lift other than like boxes of Twinkies?
His body weight?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean in terms of lifting the match?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
When your best worker is Yokozuna.
Is this? I'm trying to remember. Is 1994? Is that the era of really fat Yokozuna, or was that more closer to like 95, 96? Because there was a point where Yoko.
What's the difference?
Well, Yoko was always fat, but there was a point where Yoko was like alarmingly overweight. Like you thought he might legitimately die in the ring at any moment. I believe that was 95, 96, early 96.
Well, I read recently that at one point, like, he could only wrestle in New Jersey because, like, no other states, like, he could legally be cleared to compete.
I'm not surprised that the only state to medically clear him would be New Jersey, though. By the way,
that Yokozuna has a huge fan base in Jersey.
There were no worker improvements in this match. Nobody improved. We'll move on. And here we're back. We got our old friend Jeff and Sparkplug here. Jeff Hardy and Sparkplug. If you watched last week, Jeff Hardy, he won his driver's ed match, you could call it. His driver's ed contract on a pole match. Wins his match. Sparkplug finally agrees to teach him how to drive. Right here we have their first driving lesson. This one scores a 44. Again, better than I thought it would. Jeff and Sparkplug, so they're in their little Toyota Celica. Sparkplug's not happy. He's used to being in Formula One race cars. But he's in a Toyota Celica. Jeff Hardy's mom bought it for him for about $750 from the old lady down the block. They're in the parking lot. Jeff's learning how to drive. And Jeff Hardy bumps the only other car in the parking lot. Jeff just can't quite get it. He can't figure out how to turn the wheel or hit the brake or whatever it is. Can't figure it out. He hits the only parked car. Sparkplug loses his mind, KOs him, knocks him out, and walks off. So needless to say, driving lesson number 1 did not go as Jeff would have liked it to go. But, and clearly Sparkplug's a loose cannon.
I like how the fans recognize that being a heel is Sparkplug's not like that's not a strong suit. The dude's a dick.
Yeah, Sparkplug hinted at a heel turn. Let's actually turn him here. Let's complete the turn. All right, Sparkplug is a heel now. It says you can't see it on the video recording here, but Sparkplug's heel turn. It says it went pretty well. He just KO'd a 16-year-old kid for bumping a car, and his heel turn went pretty well. I think it went very well. Sparkplug and his feathered hair. I think it went really very well.
To be fair, Jeff Hardy was cracked out of his mind.
That's true. That's true. Well, let's move on.
He also looks like a member of the Young Bucks.
He does look like a member of the Young Bucks. All right, so we are on to our show opener now. Now we are live. In Your House is on the air. We've got Chris Jericho taking on Bob Backlund as Jericho continues his crusade to rid the World Wrestling Federation of his, quote, old dinosaurs. Bob Backlund is going to do the job here in 12 minutes via submission. So Chris Jericho taps out Bob Backlund with the Lion Tamer. It's not a bad match, 61. That's pretty much been what Jericho's been pulling. These are pretty much let's gain Jericho some popularity matches. And he does pretty well. Bob Backlund has a 69 rating performance. Jericho has a 53. So he's up from the 40s where he has been, and he's up into the 50s now. Professor, what's your take on the Jericho-Bob Backlund rivalry feud that's going on right now?
This is the rivalry that I never knew I wanted. I mean, I'm glad that Backlund is willing to put over younger talent like Jericho.
He definitely was not willing to do it. Yeah, let's not Bob Backlund. So Bob Backlund was extremely upset at this, and he will likely be fired after the show because of it.
Well, that's perfect, because that sets him up for his presidential run in 1994.
Yeah, let's not pretend. Bob Backlund for the record, we want to go on that Bob Backlund did not want to do this job to Chris Jericho. But Vinnie Mac don't care. Do the job, kid. Do the job.
So, in weird Backlund news,
Okay.
so the only time I've ever seen Backlund live was at Battleground a few years ago when he was still managing Darren Young.
Right.
And then, like, out of the blue, he, like, takes his shirt off and, like, he's threatening to put Maurice in the chicken wing. And
he's a lunatic.
it was... And, like, I don't think he realized it was a show.
Like, he really wanted to put Maurice in the chicken wing.
Yeah. Like, I think he is legitimately deranged.
Yeah, well, if you listen to him talk, he sounds legitimately deranged. But it's really too bad that the Darren Young Bob Backlund team just didn't have what it took, didn't get over. Really, I was a big Backlund and Young mark.
Well, I mean, when you have a charisma magnet like Darren Young,
yeah,
and Bob Backlund together,
yeah, I mean, that's an obvious pairing. Moving on, Jericho is going to cut a promo calling out the old timers once again. This time, Randy Savage has had enough. He gets up from the announce table, he gets into the ring, and the two have a brawl. This one actually scores really well. So we get an 85 rating on this. It's a B+. Easily our best scored angle yet. Does say Chris Jericho underperformed, but I think that's more just because Randy Savage is so good that Jericho looked, he may have looked a little bit exposed here.
It'll be the highest rated program on the entire show. We only go downhill from here.
That's it, yeah. It's only going to get worse at this point. So the Jericho Arrives storyline advances with this segment and gains heat. It's been chilling around 55, 60. This 85, now Randy Savage is involved. Now it's really starting to heat up. And so tune in next week to find out where we go from here. Moving on. We're going to get Jacques vs Pierre. The match you have all been waiting for. The breakup of the Quebecers is now complete. Thank God this storyline is over. Pierre goes over Jacques in about 10.5 minutes via pinfall with Le Cannonball.
What is that?
I don't know. Apparently it's his finisher, but I'm imagining it's the Finn Balor coup de grace, but
just in a ball form.
It's a cannonball. He just cannonballs into the guy's chest. Jacques Rougeau gets an in-ring performance of 48. Pierre a 50.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, Pierre for the break.
Pierre was carrying Jacques the entire time.
He did. If it wasn't for Pierre, this match would have been terrible. It ends that storyline. So the breakup of the Quebecers, they lose heat, ends it. We really tried hard with this one. We tried to mix it in with the Bret and Owen feud. All that did was sabotage that feud. These two, they started off really kind of in that main event with Bret and Owen, and by the time we got to this show, they were on the pre-show. So it just really was. I do have some hopes for Pierre as a mid-card kind of guy, in-ring kind of, but I don't really think there's much in the way for these two guys after this feud. But thank God it's over. We now get Pierre and Jacques going their separate ways. They don't need to interact with each other anymore. They don't need to kill our ratings on shows anymore. We are good to go.
They don't need to be on our shows anymore.
They really don't. They definitely don't. Especially Jacques, because I hate saying Jacques. I'm okay with Pierre. I hate saying Jacques. We might fire Jacques.
Actually, no. You know what? Let's give him an American gimmick, and he'll be Jack.
Jack Rougeau. Well, he can't be Rougeau either.
It'll be just Jack.
Yeah, it'll be Jack Rogu. That'll be... All right.
Jack Ragu.
Yeah, Jack Ragu.
He's an Italian.
He's an Italian-American.
He's a chef. He's got a chef gimmick.
We can move Tatanka from the American Indian. He can be the Italian-American Indian, and they can team up.
I've never knew I wanted that until now.
You want. All right, let's move on. We're going to get the Smoking Guns versus the Headshrinkers. This is a tag team title match. The Smoking Guns defeat the Headshrinkers in 12.5 minutes. Billy Gunn defeats Samu by pinfall with a Sidewinder, and they win the WWF World Tag Team Championship titles. This is a title match that had no build whatsoever. We did literally no work on this, other than occasionally having the Smoking Guns win a match. So, not surprised it only scores a 56. Yeah, no build at all, no storyline. I don't even think the Smoking Guns, earned, they didn't, win a #1 contender match, they just kind of got thrown into it. So, we scored 56, but business is about to pick up because Sid Vicious and Adam Bomb debut here. They run in after the match, and they attack everyone in the ring. They knock out the new champs, they knock out the former champs, and they stake their claim to the tag team titles. We debut a new team here, Sid and Adam Bomb. This match rating scores a 68, a C+, not bad. It heats up the crowd, got the crowd hotter. Sid Vicious comes out looking excellent.
What does that even mean?
He just looks great. He came off the top rope and didn't break his leg. So yeah.
Kudos to the Scissor Sisters.
The Scissors, yeah. Sid Vicious and Adam Bomb, the Scissor Sisters. So yeah, we're getting our first tag team title story going here. Sid's gonna debut. Adam Bomb's been off TV for 3 weeks now. He returns. And he returns as a heel, working with Sid Vicious here. So it's Sid Vicious debuting.
Let us look back at the other tag teams we've seen tonight. We've got the Bushwhackers, Yokozuna Crush, the Headshrinkers, the Smoking Guns, and now Sid Vicious and Adam Bomb. That is so terrible.
Yeah. Well, I actually think that Sid Vicious and Adam Bomb will actually help that tag team division. But yeah, our tag team division is ass. I mean, it's horrible. And we actually, spoiler alert, you'll have to listen to our creative meeting to get the full inside scoop. But spoiler alert, there is a new major tag team in the works here. A major main event tag team. And I'm not going to give too much away. You'll have to listen to our next creative meeting when it goes up. But you'll definitely want to stick around and check that out. Watch out for that debut because it's going to be fantastic.
I'm gonna make a guess. Let me think. We're gonna have probably Chris Kanyon, and
that's it. Just Chris Kanyon. He's a tag team by himself.
Oh, yeah, I'd watch that. I guarantee you it'd probably do better than C+.
It would definitely. I don't know about that. This actually, in all seriousness, this actually scored better than I thought it would. I didn't think it would score 68. And I think that's mostly due to Sid Vicious.
Look at that. Look at the number of mullets in this match.
And pedophile mustache. We have two pedophile Is mustache, is the plural mustache? Or is it mustaches?
I think it'd be mustaches.
Mustachios? Let's go with mustachios. Look at these two pedophile mustachios. And this I think is, I don't know. Let's move on. Next segment. So we get the Undertaker's entrance. Paul Bearer was not lying. He has brought back the Undertaker. The one true Undertaker makes his entrance here at In Your House. Ted DiBiase can't believe it. Underfaker can't believe it. But the true Undertaker is here, the Phenom. He makes a 5-minute entrance. If we wanted to be a little more realistic, we probably would have set that at 35 minutes. But we just don't have time on the card for that. So it's a 5-minute entrance. The Undertaker comes in. It scores an 87. The crowd is eating it up. They're going nuts for it. They love it. But I don't think they're going to love this next match so much.
They're a bunch of marks.
They are a bunch of marks. They're not in the biz like you and I, Professor. They don't understand. That this Undertaker match is about to suck ass. They're about to be extremely disappointed.
I hope we're not. I hope. Hang on, can we? But before we hit next segment, can we make a guess?
Yeah, let's take a guess on it. What do you think it's going to score?
A minus.
A minus, no chance. No chance. I'm going to say Undertaker is going to carry it. I will say that. He will carry the match. I think it scores I give it a 75 on the high end. I think it's going to be anywhere between a 70 to 75. It'll be in the C's, I think.
See, what you're underestimating is the Hawaiians' love of Bryan Adams. They love Bryan Adams in Hawaii.
Could you imagine if game wise, if he had like 40 popularity everywhere except Hawaii, where he was like a 98? He's just insanely over in Hawaii.
We don't know that.
We don't know that. Well, let's see. We're going to the next segment. A 71. I was spot on. I knew it. So, well, you know what's funny here? We get a 71.
Wait, how is a 71 a C plus?
I don't know. You're the professor, man. What is a?
It'd be a C minus.
Well, in this case, it's a C plus. I love the idea here. The Underfaker and the Undertaker have great chemistry, and it showed in their performances. So let's just first go on record here and saying that this match could have been a lot worse if these two didn't have such good chemistry.
Because it's the same person.
Well, that's true. That's true. You always have your best chemistry with yourself. So, Underfaker gets an in-ring performance of 50. Undertaker an 89.
Whoa.
Yeah, Undertaker steals the show here, really. Can you imagine if Undertaker didn't have such a good performance? Well, this match would be terrible. The Battle of the Undertaker storyline loses heat. It doesn't end here, though. So it doesn't end, but it does lose heat. So we'll see. Is there an Undertaker 2? Or what's going on here? But as you know, the storyline does not end here. But we get a 71.
Is there a third Undertaker?
Yeah, right? What if just the whole roster just debuted as Undertakers until Undertaker has defeated every Undertaker on the roster, and there's no more on it's just Undertaker. The whole WWF is just the Undertaker.
You do a pre-show Undertaker Battle Royal?
Yeah. Can you imagine Shawn Michaels as an Underfaker? Or Dink? Actually, I would love to see. Maybe I'll pair Dink with the Undertaker. Let's change his gimmick. It said he wasn't suited to his clown gimmick. Let's make him a dead zombie and pair him. Let's make him mini Undertaker. All right, let's move on. I'm really glad that this interaction is over because I was kind of tired of building this one. Now we have the Undertaker back. We can actually put him on Monday Night Raw. So that's going to be a huge bump to our television show that has been just god-awful. Next segment, we are getting into... This is Owen Hart, and he's just basically cutting a promo on Bret and Bam Bam. Advances our storyline there. Owen is basically saying he doesn't care who wins tonight, if it's Bret, if it's Bam Bam, but at SummerSlam, he's coming for that title. And personally, he hopes it's Bret, because he wants to finally put the big brother in his place. He's a nugget.
Can we hire Stu Hart?
Yeah, you know what's funny? I actually did look for Stu Hart. We can't hire him, but we can hire Bruce and Keith Hart, the unsuccessful Hart brothers.
What about Diana Hart-Smith?
I don't know. I'd actually check.
Or is it Martha? No, Martha was Owen's wife, right?
Yeah, Martha is Owen's wife. What's their mother's name? Do you remember? I can't remember what her mother's name is. Anyway, if you're listening, if you happen to be watching this, if you're the guy who watches this video, leave a comment there. Leave a comment and let us know what is Owen Hart's mother's name, because I cannot for the life of me remember. But yeah, Owen's wife is Martha. And I don't think, I know Stu's not in the game. I'm pretty sure if Stu's not in the game, their mother won't be in the game. But if she is, we're gonna hire her. And we're going to make her one of the old-school Raw ring girls. We get the no worker improvements here. Scores of 77. Good, solid rating. We are heading into our next segment, which is Razor Ramon versus Diesel for the Intercontinental Championship. It's a bout that has good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Diesel defeats Razor Ramon in just under 25 minutes by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage. Diesel makes defense number 5 of his Intercontinental title. We also get a run-in here from HBK. So HBK is going to help Diesel retain the title here. He's going to trip up Razor Ramon, and then Diesel's going to powerbomb him and hold the ropes with HBK's help. So Diesel retains the title. HBK helps him out. Gets an 82 rating. That's a B grade. We're doing okay here. Razor has an in-ring performance of 80. Diesel has an in-ring performance of 62. So this is not the first time, actually, that I think Diesel has underperformed on a card. On a serious note, from a serious booking perspective, this is not the first time that I think he's underperformed. I don't know if it's just he's pretty popular. He's a decent brawler, but Razor is head and shoulders better than him here, as he was in real life.
Yeah, like, what constitutes as a good Diesel match?
Well, I mean, that is fair. I mean, I guess in-ring-wise, 60-62 is probably where Diesel is. Although he wasn't a terrible brawler. I think Diesel...
I'm surprised he didn't tear his quad using the ropes as leverage.
Maybe that's why he had to use the ropes as leverage, because he tore his quad walking to the ring. Do we have any worker improvements here? Nah, no worker improvements here. But not a bad semi-main event here. We get an 82. We are heading into our main event. It's our World Wrestling Federation heavyweight title match. Bret Hart versus Bam Bam Bigelow. And it scores an 81. So it's funny. Before we started this, we were debating if we wanted to put Bret and Bam Bam on in the main event, or if we'd be better off with Diesel and Razor. Ultimately, it wouldn't have mattered much, so I'm glad we went with the world title match. It's just under 20 minutes. Bret wins with a victory roll. He beats him with a victory roll.
Did he learn that from Pierre?
Yeah, Pierre taught him the victory roll. Bret makes defense number 2 of his World Heavyweight Championship. It says the match deserved better color commentary. That's strange to me because all throughout the entire show, we've been getting the positive commentary notes here. But here we get the day one, no big deal. Bam Bam's in-ring performance is 75, and Bret pulls a 90. The Bret and Owen storyline advances with this segment. I'm really hoping we had 2 storylines sitting at 77 in terms of heat. We need to get them over. We need to get them to 78 so that we can stop taking the penalties for having boring storylines. So the game is going to penalize us. We have to have at least 2 storylines with over 77 heat. We had 2 at 77, so we've been getting a penalty every single show. I'm hoping this match and the Diesel versus Razor match will get those 2 storylines over that hump, so we stop taking that penalty. But Bam Bam actually performs pretty well here. He goes 20 minutes, takes the pinfall, but not a big deal. He kind of puts himself in as a guy who can hang with the main eventers. This is really, it's on our creative meeting if you listen to it, but I'm a fan of Bam Bam, and I think that we've talked about it kind of doing something a little different than they did in 1994 for real. And I think to, kind of pushing Bam Bam as a legitimate main event kind of guy, as my daughter yells in the background here, she's super pumped for Bam Bam to be a main eventer here.
She's a huge Bigelow mark.
She's a huge Bigelow mark. Baby girl, you like Bam Bam? Yeah, she likes Bam Bam. She's always saying Bam Bam. She's a big Bam Bam. She loves the tattooed head. But yeah, so I kind of want to push Bam Bam into that main event spotlight there. And I think this is a good start for him. Take a pinfall to Bret, but have a good solid match with him. Pulls an 81. Really not too bad.
I've been relatively impressed by the show. I was not expecting it to go as well as it did.
And thank God it's going well, because we've really had a rough go of things leading up to this show. This has been I'd venture to say that maybe like 18 people are going to buy this pay-per-view just because the Monday Night Raws have been that bad. The people in Puerto Rico don't even know what's going on because nobody was speaking their language over there. They have no clue what the matches are tonight because nobody on that show was able to tell them or hype the matches at all.
Well, they did say that Paul Bear's gimmick is not suited for him, so why don't we why don't we try and tap into that Puerto Rican fan base with Paul Bear?
All right, we'll teach him Spanish. We'll hook him up with Quang, teach him some Spanish, and we'll see how far we get with that. Let's end the show here. See what our final grade is. Professor, take a guess. What do you think the final grade of the show is going to be? Where are we going to sit at?
I'd say a solid C.
See, I think we're going to do better than that. I think we're going to pull an 80 rating on this. I think we're going to pull an 80. The main event was good. The semi-main event was good. Hold on a second. My assistant here is flashing me grades. What do you think it's going to get? What's that at? You could say it. 7.9. She thinks it's going to pull a 79 rating. I think we're going to get an 80 here. I think we're over a C. The main event was good. The semi-main event was good. We had a couple of really good angles. Let's see. We're gonna.
Well, who knows what like the letter scores are?
Well, that's like, true. Considering a 70,
a 71 is a C plus.
Yeah, I want to go to that school.
Ugh.
All right, ending the show here. We pull a 72. How's a 72 a B minus? See, so we're gonna we're taking a hit here. Because we don't have enough interesting storylines going on. So we're still getting that penalty.
How are they not intrigued by Jeff Hardy learning how to drive?
You know why? It's probably because that one was on the pre-show. If that was on our main event, then the crowd would love it. No, I'm hoping, though, that this penalty is, coming into this show, we didn't have that heat. But I'm hoping that after the show, we kind of get those storylines up and over. We have a couple of good episodes of Monday Night Raw going forward. But we lose popularity in 11 regions. So we've been steadily losing popularity this last month. But not really all that bad. We're not in any danger of dropping in size. We're not in any danger of losing any kind of TV programs or whatever. I do know that the pay-per-view provider is not going to be happy with this show. They expect all their shows to be, I think, at like an 84 rating. So we're way under that for this show. So they're not going to be happy. They're not going to drop us right away, but they're definitely not going to be happy. Let's make a speech here. Oh, you know what? My video recording software here is not recording this pop-up window here. So I'm doing a post-show speech. I'm going to have to walk through it. It's only recording the main window here. But we're basically going to single out a couple of guys. Let's single out The Undertaker and point him out as a good example. Let's single out... Let's get Chris Jericho. See, my daughter, again, she's loving the Undertaker storyline here. She agrees. We're gonna praise him for a great performance. And let's give
Dink.
Paul Bearer... Oh, Dink. Yeah, Dink. Let's take Dink and compliment him.
Give him a hug.
Performance. We're going to give him a hug. Is that an option? Yeah, we're going to give him a hug. Alright, so we are giving Dink a hug. That's an option here. So, Undertaker's pointed out as a good example. Jericho praised on a great performance, and Dink gets a hug. Let's make a speech here. The Undertaker seems pleased. Jericho seems pleased. And Dink is pleased. Dink is happy with his hug. So yeah, so there we're going to finish up our show here. We pull a 72. Again, not the greatest show. It's not terrible, though. It's better than the Raws we've been putting on. We've got The Undertaker back full-time now, so we'll be able to get him on some Monday Night Raws. We actually have an exciting storyline. I joke about The Undertaker vs. Undertaker. That storyline's not over, but thankfully, Under Faker is over, and I'm actually really excited about the direction.
Yeah, he's over.
Yeah, he's over like Rover. But yeah, so I do have some, and it kind of, what I think is an exciting kind of fun storyline, moving forward there. But I want to check our storylines here. So yeah, the Battle of the Undertakers is sitting at a 71. Bret vs. Owen is a 73. That's hurting us. And Razor vs. Diesel's an 82. So we have to get this Bret vs. Owen story over to a 78 popularity. So yeah, so we're gonna hopefully have in the Monday Night Raws leading up, hopefully kind of move forward with that and get that over. But yeah, so that's our show. Why does Bret Hart have morale issues here? So again, I don't think our viewers can see this pop-up window here that we can right now. But he's angry at the pressure of being figurehead. So he's annoyed. Maybe he doesn't want to be the figurehead.
Good. We're gonna push him down the card.
Yeah, you get buried, Bret.
He's gonna be jobbing to Dink.
So that's our In Your House. That's our episode. Again, if you want to hear the creative meeting, head on over to Podomatic.com. It's Podomatic.com. It's bookitbetter.podomatic.com. You can check out that. We got our creative meetings. We're also posting our roundtables up there. So, Professor, before we go off here, what's your final thoughts on this amazing episode of In Your House?
I would have actually given them my house to have seen this pay-per-view.
I think it's certainly our best pay-per-view yet. It's our first pay-per-view, but it really set the bar. I think it set the bar for the other one. If In Your House is anything like what we have moving forward, then you fans, you're in for a treat, because this is going to be an amazing series.
That's actually what Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn said before their match with the Headshrinkers. They said, fans, you are in for a treat.
Yeah, because you get to see the debut of Sid Vicious tonight.
Yes.
So anyway, Professor, thanks for joining me today. If you watched along at home, thanks for sticking around. This was one of our longer episodes, but it's a pay-per-view. It's got to be longer. It's got to be more hyped. Our pay-per-views don't get hyped; they stay hyped. So thanks for joining. Again, welcome. This is Book It Better podcast. Head on over to Podomatic. Check out our creative meetings. Check out our roundtables, and don't forget to tune into your YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's when these videos will be going up. You'll get Monday Night Raws and our pay-per-views. That's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The Book It Better podcast, that goes up every Wednesday. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you on Wednesday.